Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Elizabeth and I will be reviewing The Bachelor episode 9. The Women Tell All. Before we get into it, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. Comment below to let me know what you think, all that good stuff. So yeah, this episode was, the episode was I usually love reunion episodes, but there wasn't too much with this one. All of the girls look good. I like Chelsea with the new blonde hair. She looks good, kind of similar. I'm thinking like, should I do something? Anyway, Chelsea with the blonde hair, she looks good. Oh, I thought Kayla had on way too much makeup. Like, I don't know what that was about. I didn't like her makeup. I don't like her hair in this episode, but everyone else looks great. We're missing some of the women. We didn't get everyone, I guess, because of COVID restrictions. We didn't get Marilyn, Maggie, and and Sarah didn't come, I guess because she's taking care of her dad, which good for her. Because if she would have came back to this reunion, I would have been a little like not believing her story too much, but I guess that's good. And we get right into it with Victoria. I couldn't wait for this part because I just wanted to know what she was going to say. Like, after watching herself, I personally thought that she was a producer or like a plant from the show or something to like bring more drama. I guess she wasn't. She's got some issues. I mean, we all have issues, but she's very insecure, and to try and mask that insecurity, she has to try and be the loudest one in the room. And that doesn't work. I just don't understand that. So yeah, they start talking about Victoria, but before they kind of get into that, they bring up MJ, and they bring up the drama between MJ and Jacinia, and that was all kind of stupid because MJ wasn't at the level of bullying that Victoria was, but she was still like a part of the nonsense, you know. There's something about MJ's face that sometimes looks like, sometimes she can look so pretty and then other times she can look kind of scary. I don't know. That's all I have to say about MJ. And then MJ says that she's owned up to her bullying with Matt when Matt had his one-on-one with her. And we didn't see that. When did she own up to her portion of it? I didn't see that. Okay. After that, so then we get Ryan talking about Victoria calling her a hoe and a slut because she's a dancer, and how she's not a hoe and a slut. She's a dancer, and she's so tired of getting that, and she's still tearing up. And Victoria basically, like the bitch she is like, well, are you sure you're not just super sensitive? Because I got picked on online too. Like, there were memes about I guess there are memes about Victoria's swollen eye, which was that what was going on with her eyes? Because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know if it was the makeup, but apparently her eye was swollen for the whole filming. And there are memes online about her bra strap, which it was kind of intense. Like, girl, why are you wearing all these cut off sleeve dresses and you don't have a bra to like accommodate that? Like, why are your straps showing? It just looks ugly. So she related that to being called a hoe and a slut or whatever, calling Ryan that. And then Victoria did this thing, like, you know, they were going back and forth. And then Victoria did this thing that I did not like. I felt triggered as a Black woman. She's like, you don't have to do all of this. Like, what's up with the attitude? Like, Victoria, really? You're going to call someone out on their attitude, girl? I didn't like that. Was triggering for me. I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. And Victoria, shut up, girl. You know what you said and the things that you did was intense and crazy, and you were a big bully. And then she was like, well, people are calling me a bully. And I'm like, that's because you are a bully. You were a bully. You were a mean girl in the house. And then it was weird that Chelsea, of all people, was sort of backing up Victoria, basically being like, oh, I don't think it was that toxic in the house and it really wasn't that bad. And then they all gang up on Katie. This all leads to a whole big gang up on Katie. And apparently the girls are still upset with her for telling Matt about the toxicity in the house, because according to some girls, it wasn't that toxic. But I'm like, okay, we weren't in the house, but we saw, and it looked uncomfortable. I wouldn't want to be in a house with all those girls. Like, it seemed as though if you weren't friends with Victoria and you weren't laughing behind everything she did, then you were going to be the one to get made fun of. I feel like she was the leader of the mean girls, and a lot of girls followed suit and just followed her. Like, and Katie was one of the only ones to basically step up to Victoria and tell her to stop. And yeah, the girls are right that at first Katie was a little mean to Sarah at first. And then after she found out about what was going on with her father, she changed her script a little bit. And yeah, because she's a human being. Like, she's not going to continue to keep being mean to this girl when there's a reason for that girl's behavior. Sarah, we're talking about. So I still don't understand why they're ganging up on Katie and why they're so upset about her telling Matt, like, she didn't like it. Like, they're like, Serena is like, well, how did you think you were going to get closer with Matt by telling him that? And she's like, that has nothing to do with me getting closer to him. I just didn't like the vibe in the house. And so I spoke up for who I thought needed to be spoken up for. But I don't know. Apparently the girls just didn't like that at all. I don't understand it. Also, what was Victoria wearing? It kind of looked like she had that light blue, kind of like suit thing going on. It kind of reminded me of like a Elvis Presley looking kind of thing. I don't know if that's what she was going for, but oh, and then Katie basically saying that, so Katie is saying that the hate that some of the girls are getting online is justified and it's their karma for being mean to the other girls in the house. And like, I would kind of agree with that. I would agree with that. Like, no one should get death threats. No one should be told to go kill themselves or anything like that. But you guys were doing a lot. Like, you guys, some of the girls were really mean to some of the other girls. And yeah, I would say the same thing. It's karma, payback. I felt for Katie though. And then, you know, it's such a, I feel for Katie because the cameras are always on. And so they're arguing. And, you know, when you get like filled with like adrenaline, you can maybe start shaking a little bit. And there's a point where, you know, I like that Katie will always stand up for herself. But there was a part the camera showed where she was like fidgeting with her hair after like arguing with Victoria, and she was like shaking. I was like, oh, cringe. Why did they have to show that part? Hey, now Brittany gets called up into the hot seat to basically talk about some more of the toxicity that was in the house, because Brittany was called an escort by Anna. She was called an escort by Anna and all these things. And, you know, okay, no one likes to be called a slut or a whore. Nickname, I mean, no one likes to be called any sort of name. But, like, I guess I just didn't realize that it was that big of a deal. Like, okay, she called you a whore or she called you an escort once. Like, girl, there's no basis in reality for what she said. Like, why is it such a big deal? She's like, my mom watches the show and my family watches the show. And like, after I got home, I just didn't even want to be around my family. I couldn't even talk to them. And I'm like, over a rumor that wasn't true? You mean your family doesn't know you well enough to know that you're not no escort? I mean, but then it made sense when she said, you know, if you Google my name, the top 10 searches say, you know, Brittany called an escort on The Bachelor. So, and that kind of was like, oh man, that sucks. That sucks, because even after years of not being on the show, if that's still in the Google searches, it kind of doesn't matter. Like, if she is or isn't, like, people are just going to assume she is, I guess. I don't know. And so Victoria had to be the one to ask, but Anna, did you just make this up out of your own head? Like, how did you even hear about these escort things? Like, were they rumors? And Anna was like, yeah, I mean, she basically said that she was like, I heard stuff from people that you know, like your ex-boyfriend. And I'm like, her ex-boyfriend? Like, that's some puss ass. That's so messed up. Like, for her ex-boyfriend to be one of the people spreading those rumors about her, whether it's true or not. Like, you know, she's going on a show and you happen to know Anna and you tell Anna, like, that's so trashy. Like, ugh. But yeah, I mean, we didn't have to know if the rumors are just not true. They're rumors, and we didn't really have to know how they originated. But I was kind of curious, so I'm kind of glad Victoria asked. Oh, Anna apologized. Anna apologizes. And I meant to say earlier, Victoria also apologized. So we did get some apologies, and I was really surprised Victoria apologized to Katie. Really surprised. I thought she was gonna like come to the reunion on some, yeah, bitches, what? I mean, she kind of did a little bit, but I'm glad that she apologized. And then we get a few more ladies called up to the hot seat, and they play the packages of basically them getting dumped. We get Katie, Piper, and Abigail. They all get in the hot seat, and the show just plays back them getting dumped, which is just awkward and cringy. And we get to hear from Abigail as well. And they basically all said the same thing. Like, they were all shocked. They didn't know. They were so into Matt that they weren't paying attention to his feelings for the other women. And I'm like, that's a good thing. If you were so, that's how you should be. That's how relationships should be. You should be so into the person you're dating that you're not worried about everybody else. Like, I feel like that is the way to go. But they all said that they were really surprised, but they think Matt is a nice guy, blah, 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 blah. I felt bad for Katie because Katie really seemed to like Matt. Like, Katie really seemed to have feelings for him. And when she was talking about being 30 and, are things going to happen for her? Is she going to meet the person? Is there anybody out there for her? I felt her on that, I mean, being in my 30s, definitely feel it. But it was interesting hearing her say that. Hearing her say some of the same things I say to myself, but hearing her say it out loud was just like, oh, girl, that's not true. You're only in your 30s. So it was nice because I felt like I should be telling myself that, like, girl, you're only in your 30s. It's not that bad. And it was interesting because they put the camera on the other girls, and I feel like they were all like, I feel like they all felt her in a little bit, in a way, they all felt what she was saying. So that was interesting. And then Abigail's hot seat. It was just nice that, like, Abigail's inspired a whole community, which is awesome. I would love to see her as the next Bachelorette. Like, that would be awesome. I would really like to see that. Oh, Serena P's hot seat. She just wasn't feeling Matt from the jump. Like, she just, she wasn't feeling him. And because she even said, I was waiting on the confirmation of my family to finally see it. And I'm like, so this whole time you never saw it for him? You were waiting until the hometowns to, like, see if there was a spark? Jeez. But yeah, she just didn't like him, and that's okay. Oh, and then Matt with the beard. No. No. I think I like the goatee. I like if he shit. I do like the beard look on some guys, but with him, he just needs to shave it down. You know what I mean? Get it trimmed down. Don't do the baby face thing, but, like, just trim all that hair down. He was trying to do a thing, but I don't think it was cute on him. But oof, that suit looked really nice on Matt. I will say that suit fit him well, real nice. And Chris, so we're getting a new host. Chris is going to no longer be the host of The Bachelor. And again, I think some of it was brought on by what he said in that interview. But also, I also think the show is just trying to take a different turn. Like, he's old, like, for the show. And yeah, the show could use some pep, somebody different, somebody new, he's so robotic, and he tries to be human in the interviews with the ladies, but it always comes off as really robotic. So I'll be happy to see how this new host handles everything. And towards the beginning of the episode of This Woman Tells All, Chris is like, oh, you may think you know how it's going to go, but you have no idea. We all know. We all know who won. So whatever. We all knew she was going to win from the beginning. I'm not going to say it in this episode, but whatever. Anyway, so that's it with The Women Tell All. Let me know what you think of this episode. Join me for the next video, which is going to be episode 10, episode 11, and then the finale. I'm excited. But yeah, this was good. That's it for this video. Let me know what you think of this season, this episode. Let me know what you think down below in the comments, and join me again.